So I think hopefully the agenda here is to leave you inspired about messaging as a channel and have you creating these experiences on Messenger and to show you how easy it is to do that. So my name is SARIM AZIZ. I'm based in Singapore. I'm part of the platform partnerships team. I work primarily with developers who are building different experiences using our core platform products, but I exclusively focus a lot on Messenger. And I work with a lot of bot developers across the region. I actually had the privilege of meeting some this morning today in Sri Lanka as well. So let's get started. So what's the big deal with Messenger? We saw a lot of stats earlier today, on the growth on Facebook, going from 24 million to 2 billion users. Messaging, is growing at a much faster rate than we expect. And the stats are by 2018 there will be over 2 billion people globally using messaging. And this is a trend that we're seeing throughout the world. People 2 years ago who said they were engaging on Messenger are now, this trend is expected to increase in the next couple of years at even a faster rate. And here's the trends that we see. I want to share some of these insights with you because I think these are important. The first thing we're seeing is that, for us, we've invested in this platform heavily and we've grown to 1.2 billion users. And it's still obviously catching up to our 2 billion users on Facebook, but there's a lot of people who are mobile first, and that's really what's driving this messaging trend. If you think about people around you, people who may have just bought their smartphone for the first time, or maybe even using feature phones, what is one thing they usually do? They all communicate, and they communicate using messaging. So this is a channel we're trying to engage businesses and developers to start to think about as they build their experiences. And so on businesses like yourselves, they actually get it. There's 70 million pages on Facebook, and almost 20 million of them are already engaging with their customers over Messenger. And we expect that these customers are actually like this channel, and they're going to be engaging with businesses even more through Messenger. In fact, a lot of them are saying, more than half are saying that they will most likely buy from a business that they can directly message. So I think it's almost like the next trend from web into messaging, where at first it was the .com era. You needed to have a website, you needed to have a web presence, and you needed to have a mobile app. Now it's like people want that personalized experience. They want to be able to communicate with you over messaging in order to do a transaction or to use your service. So this platform we launched in 2016, in April at F8, and since then we've come a long way. So it hasn't been 2 years yet, but almost going to be 2 years soon in 2018. We have over 100,000 developers who have built over 100,000 experiences on Messenger. And this is a really exciting ecosystem for us. And we couldn't have done it alone. There's a lot of developers who are focusing specifically on things like NLP, natural language processing, or AI, or helping businesses build messaging experiences using automation that they offer. In fact, we've got a few good companies in Sri Lanka here today. We have Bot Factory in the room, who's also helped a few businesses in Sri Lanka build experiences. So if you don't know where to get started, really the message is that there are partners in the ecosystem within Colombo and around the world that can help you get started on Messenger and how to build these experiences. So what are these experiences? What do they look like? So I'm going to show you a few examples. I apologize. I was actually working with some of the partners yesterday trying to get some examples, because there are some really, really good examples in Sri Lanka, and I encourage you to go out and try these out. In fact, I'll mention it. But these are the sort of the 4 use cases we think messaging serves really well. These are not the only 4, but these are 4 we think that a lot of our brand partners have managed to crack. So the first one is quite easy. It's raising awareness. Any digital marketers in the room who do ads marketing on Facebook? Oh, there's one there. Wow. Usually the whole room goes up because everybody is running ads or running Facebook pages. But typically marketers are really excited about Messenger because it's a great channel for them to engage their audience, to raise awareness, right? So when you have a budget, yes, you want to spend the budget on marketing, on ads, on offers. Messaging is a great channel to basically engage audiences, and it's proved to be a very effective channel in terms of engagement. So this is a great example from the New York Fashion Week last year. So Tommy Hilfiger did this bot where during the week you could, and actually still live, you can go check it out. It's called Tommy Girl. It's like sort of a girl's fashion line. And you can engage with the messenger bot and try out different experiences. There's animation, there's video in there. You can pick what kind of tops and clothes you want. It kind of suggests things that match with it. So it's kind of like this intelligent experience that it's a bit more engaging. And really, it was they weren't really trying to drive transactions, but really drive awareness of this new brand line. They noticed that this channel, and they were running ads in different channels, web, online, mobile, that this was one of their most effective channels. They found that people were 3.5 times spend more time on the messenger bot versus other channels, web and mobile app and other things that they had running. So beyond awareness, I mean, typically that's a very kind of a marketing function. A lot of any growth hackers in the room, responsible for growth and of your company or product. So if you are in that phase, it's all about user acquisition. And so messaging has also proven to be an effective channel to acquire your next customer. And this is an example from India, Jugnu, which is basically hailing taxi hailing, rickshaw hailing app. And they actually did a bot, and they saw over 3,000 rides were done through this. And this was a brand new set of customers. They noticed that people were using messaging were net new customers from areas that they had never served before. So that was really an interesting expansion strategy for them to use Messenger, because traditionally they had a mobile app and they had other channels. And this became a new channel of acquiring new users. Similarly, we have a local example here. Is it My Taxi Cabs? Or Taxi Cabs? MyTaxiCabs.com or MyCabs.com, right? I think that's the service here in Sri Lanka that's also a similar hailing app. So they have a messenger bot as well. Go check it out. And from what I've been told is that they're exclusively using Messenger for onboarding new drivers onto their platform. So go check it out. It's m.me/mycabs. So it's mycabs.com with a Z. So they noticed, why did they use Messenger? Because they noticed that to onboard drivers was almost 3 times more efficient to onboard them through Messenger as opposed to using other channels like a mobile app or web. So now they're driving all their new drivers to just onboard, because usually when you have to sign up as a driver, there's a lot of checks you have to go through. You have to provide your name, your license information, your photo, all this stuff. And they found this was a great channel to acquire customers. And in their case, the customer is the driver as well. Enabling transactions. So this is your traditional kind of e-commerce use case where it's all about making more revenue. And again, in this space, Messenger has proven to be pretty effective. Sales Stock is a e-commerce for fashion for women based in Indonesia. So this bot that they made, it's actually it talks in Bahasa and English. And again, it really helps you figure out what you want to buy. Because sometimes, you come to these websites, especially, I don't know if you've gone to Amazon, you sometimes get overwhelmed. There's just too many things there. Like, where do you start? So this is kind of a nice way of conversing with your customer and figuring out what is it that you want to buy and helping them effectively close the transaction through Messenger. And similarly, it becomes a great customer service solution, which we'll talk about. So in Sales Stock's case, they noticed that their response times improved drastically with Messenger, and just that conversion rate was 2.3 times better than their web channels, and including their app as well. So again, if you're trying to close the deal, close the sale, this became a very effective channel, because if you think about it, if you're engaging with a Messenger bot and you just thought about buying a pair of shoes, you leave. 2 days later, you can always come back and resume that conversation. But with a website, you're going to go back and figure out which link it was and change the color, figure out whether you want that product or not. So for re-engagement, this is a great channel to bring your customers back to convert. And lastly, customer service. This is probably one that we're extremely excited about, because we already see this happening. A lot of people who are selling products on Facebook, maybe they don't have a website, maybe they just have a Facebook page, maybe it's a salon down the street that's advertising their spa services. or haircut services. So they're seeing that this is where people are engaging with them. If they have a question about the product or the question about the service, they will usually message the page through Messenger. So this is already an organic way of providing customer service. But how do you, with Messenger bots, you can scale this to do this for multiple customers for inbound messages that are coming in. And so Globe Philippines is one of the top telcos in Philippines. Through one of their partners, Service Friend, which is an Israeli AI company, they build this customer service experience where they have this character called G, which helps you top up your account, figure out your account balance, find the right data plan, and it's all done through natural language. And they notice now that this is so effective that they actually are trying to deflect customers and encourage customers to contact them over Messenger versus calling in. And it's resulted in 50% reduction in calls. We have a similar example in Sri Lanka. So I don't know, anybody, you guys have a life insurance company called, is it Union Assurance? Yeah? So they built a similar bot. They created, they called it Ask Amanda. So Amanda is your virtual assistant for insurance. And she can help you figure out what product you need. She's actually quite funny because you can either type your age. So typically for insurance, you need person's age. So instead of the age, you can actually upload your photo, and she can try to guess how old you are. So try it out. I mean, it looked like it was pretty accurate. So try it out. So basically, through this conversation, it's making something like life insurance a little bit more digestible, because typically life insurance is not something. It's a bit of a tough topic for people, or insurance in general. It's a tough topic. It's saving for the rainy day, right? So this Ask Amanda bot. So you can go to the page for Ask Amanda or look for assurance, Union Assurance, and you'll find this bot, which will help you find the right insurance product. But they're also using it for customer service. So you can submit your claims through the Messenger bot. So check it out if you want to look at that as a local example. And they're really excited about that as an effective way of reducing dependencies on like traditional channels, which cost a lot, like phone call and email and all those. So some of the examples you saw, you notice a few things, right? When you talk about messaging traditionally, when you talk, is very conversational. It's about carrying on a conversation, saying hi, hello, how are you? But it doesn't have to be. You notice a lot of the examples, they were very visual. A lot of the components that you see are not components you use every day, or maybe you do. I mean, it depends on what app you use. If you use WhatsApp, people send a lot of images. They send video. With Messenger, we've got a lot of exciting features in there, like GIFs, emojis that you can use, different ways of expressing yourselves to your friends and your family. With Messenger bots, we've done the same thing. We've given you components, visual components, that can make the conversation flow a little bit easier. And this will tell you why this is important later. And it's social as well, right? And we'll talk about how are the ways that this can be more social. It's not just about you engaging with the business. It's about you and your friends maybe engaging with the business, or maybe it's a more social activity. If you're going to buy movie tickets, I mean, I don't know. It's been a while since I watched a movie alone. You typically want to go with a friend. So it's a social activity. So you might want to engage with the business and engage with your friend while you make that decision. Or if you're ordering food, that's a social decision usually. What do you want to eat? So you want to ask a good bunch of friends. Is it pizza or is it burgers? Again, those are experiences you can do on Messenger in a social way. And we'll look at some examples. So the Messenger platform has some existing components I want to highlight in terms of visual components. One is account linking. This is a feature which, especially for secure gated experiences, if you're talking about customer service, you probably, in a travel scenario, you want to know their booking number. Or if you're trying to provide, if you're a telecom operator like Mobitel, you want to know what their phone number is before you can start to give them more advanced features. So this account linking allows you to do that. So within the Messenger bot, you don't have to leave. It creates this web view which lets you authenticate, and then you're back in the conversation as an authenticated user. It passes a token back. So this feature is new that we've launched and helps to create more premium experiences that you can upsell. We have persistent menus. I think menus are super important because, again, with conversations, you don't want to keep scrolling back up to go back to that first option. There's some things you can just make sure that they're always visible to the user. things like customer support. And so this is an option that's available to you. And we have sub-persistent menus, so you can create these kind of menu flows within Messenger. So you take advantage of some UX components here. And then quick replies are great. And quick replies are one of those features that kind of blurs the boundary between UX and conversation, because it is conversational, but like you're suggesting the responses to the customer. So if you're asking for city, instead of waiting for the user to type it, why don't you suggest the city, Colombo or Candy or whatever that is. And so that makes it visual, but the user can tap on these visual cues to basically continue the conversation. All there to make your life easier. So in terms of newer features which we've launched, there's actually, I'm going to see, I don't think I can play a video on this. I had a video to show you, but this is Discovery. It hasn't launched yet in Sri Lanka. We've launched it in the US, UK, Australia. It's going to come to Sri Lanka soon. But the idea is we are going to launch this dedicated tab in Messenger where people can discover local Messenger experiences that are built on bots. So it'll be based on what's close nearby, what's local, based on address. It'll be based on what people in your social network like. It'll be based on what the pages that you follow and like. So we'll surface the relevant experiences, whether it's news or sports, cricket, whatever that is. It'll surface automatically. So this is a good time for you to build a bot before this tab launches, because when it launches, if you don't have a bot, you don't show up here. Right? So good time to invest, and you have some time as it rolls out. Parametric codes, I know we mentioned QR codes. If we had some time, we would have probably set up parametric codes for you. These are Messenger codes. So you can, if you go into the Messenger app, there's a scan code option, which lets you scan these codes, and these drive straight into Messenger. Great way to engage this kind of a setup where you have QR codes for feedback. You can just scan the Messenger code, and instead of submitting your feedback through a web form, you can submit it through a conversation. A bot can ask you the questions. So that could be an interesting way to kind of engage users. You can think of retail as a good example as well for product information through these Messenger codes. And chat extensions. So this is my favorite, and I think one of the most hidden gems of Messenger is chat extensions makes your experience social, where it's no longer about user to business. It's about your friends to business. So imagine creating a shopping list with your significant other on what to buy through Messenger, or creating a shared playlist. If you listen to music, creating a group of friends and then creating like your shared playlist. So that you can do that with Spotify today. If you have I don't think Spotify works here, right? Yet, not yet. So whenever it does, so you can check it out if you have an account from another country. But basically, you can create a shared playlist in Messenger. You don't have to leave Messenger. You can create a playlist and play the song right there. You have cricketing bots that do some exciting stuff. Like imagine creating your, I don't know, what do you call it, the World 11, or you're picking your team together with your team in terms of, so you can do like these really interesting things where again you have a group of users engaging with the same Messenger bot in the conversation, bringing the bot into the group conversation through an extension. We'll get to the tips, but there's one new thing we've launched. So I don't know how many of you know, we've launched the Messenger platform version 2.2 on Monday, or actually Tuesday, I think, so 2 days ago. And so the one thing that we've launched there is pretty exciting, and if you look for Messenger version 2.2. So we've announced a bunch of new things. Some of them are like handover protocol. Handover is interesting because it lets different bots talk to each other. So imagine if you have one page, right? If you have one Facebook page, but you have one bot that handles customer service, but a different bot that handles product discovery or sales. So those can be two different apps that are running, but they can hand over thread control to the other, and vice versa. So that it's like when you call your support, your billing company, and they tell you, oh, you need to talk to the technical support team. That's a separate team. I have to transfer you. So imagine bots transferring you in the thread to another sort of bot that can handle something else for you. So you can do that now with handover. So I think it's still a very early space, and in terms of UX, we're really learning a lot. And we're building these components. What you saw today are the menus I showed you, like the persistent menu, account linking. These are features we've launched in the last 2 years, and when we first launched the product, it was literally just a send and receive API. meaning that we left it to the developer community to basically figure out the conversational flow. But conversational flow is not easy to do. That's something you have to, if you think about it, you have to almost anticipate what a customer expects, how the conversation should flow. It needs to be smooth, it needs to be frictionless. They shouldn't get stuck in a loop where your bot keeps asking the same thing. So we've come a long way in terms of taking those learnings and creating these components that make the life easy for developers who are building these experiences, because these components make it a good experience. So this is our Messenger, you can't see the URL, it's messenger.facebook.com, fb.com. We have a blog there, so do check it out where we announce and you can follow it. What it is basically allows you to embed your Messenger bot into your website. So now you don't have to drive customers away from your website. So there's a website that actually has an example of this here. It's called Mermaid Pillow. So they were one of our first launch partners that helped us beta test this. So you'll notice this plugin will show up at the bottom right here after the page loads. So it'll be the last thing to load because obviously the page has to load. So you see that Messenger icon there. So the cool thing is actually, it's all washed out, but you can see your profile photo and you'll see your name next to it. So it's like a very personalized support experience. As soon as you come to your page, it'll be like, hey, how are you doing today, SARIM? And you'll see your profile photo, and then you can hit chat now, and you can start engaging with your Messenger experience right within that same page. So this could be obviously bot-driven, or it could be human bot-driven as well. It doesn't have to be automated, but this is a great way of kind of keeping customers on your site, but still automating some of that experience. So we'll hit back. I know I have 3 minutes before I hand it over to Satya on analytics, so let's just finish up quickly here. All right. So yeah, in terms of best practices, again, I think that you should know when not to do this. Like, that's not a very, if you're like a travel site and you're trying to ask people a bunch of information before you can provide them a list of results. Imagine if I had to fill all this up, answer 10 questions, and then the bot said, sorry, no results. I would not use that bot again, right? So this is called death by decision tree. Like, don't create these decision trees. Like, this is where you need to know when to be conversational and when to be UX driven. And a good example of that is the Swelly bot, which like basically is a social recommendations bot, helps you make decisions on which color shirt should I wear, and things like that. So it uses a mix of UX components where, if you're managing subscriptions, imagine if you could subscribe to like 5-6 different things, and you were asking the user, do you want to subscribe for this? Do you want to subscribe for this? No. Do you want to subscribe for this? No. Those become like 5-6 questions very easily. You can just provide a UX within Messenger where people can, using a web view, select what they want to subscribe to. Menus, again, there's some best practices. People want to be able to start over. Just like an app, when sometimes people get stuck, they like to be able to start over. They want to close it or then start over again. Same thing with a Messenger bot. Like, they don't want to be stuck in the middle of a conversation just because you're asking the next question. So having a persistent menu that says start over is great. Having customer service features that are there is great. And anything that's like your main menu app can apply to a Messenger bot as well. Anything that applies to an app. It is an app, right? Except it's conversational. And discovery is super important. We talked about parametric codes. You can run ads, and a lot of the brands, they will run ads to drive traffic to bots, but I feel there's a lot you can do organically. You saw the customer chat plugin. That could be a great way to start engaging traffic into Messenger. But we do have other plugins. We have some web plugins like Send to Messenger. This is a opt-in subscription plugin. So this is if you're like a news website or blog, and you'd want the person to basically subscribe to breaking news alerts, you can do that with this. So they click on Send to Messenger, they opt in to say, yeah, this, and then whenever there's a breaking news, the bot can message them. We have m.me links. So if you have a Facebook account or Facebook page, just m.me/your alias gets you to the bot. So you can embed this into mobile applications, websites. And then we talked about parametric codes. So this is some examples of TechCrunch is using this as well for subscription, the opt-in plugin for new startup news. Custom sharing is something that Trivia Blast, which is a game bot, is using. So this is, again, increasing virality, where you can customize the invitations, you let the bot share the experience with your friends, and it shows up very personalized with your name. Can you beat your friend at Harry Potter as a trivia? And in terms of advertising, I know might be some digital, if there's not many digital marketers, you may not be interested, but you can place ads both in the newsfeed. So these are called click-to-messenger ads. It's washed out, but there's like a send message button on that ad. So instead of launching an app or launching a link, it goes straight into Messenger, and you start engaging with the Messenger bot. But we also have sponsored messages. These show up within the Messenger home screen, and this is something we recently just launched. So you have an idea of different services where you can expose this experience. That's it. So go and build. Now I know getting started if you're a developer, you can just go here and get started. If you are a business that has no experience building Messenger bot and needs to find a partner, go to our Messenger site. We actually have a directory of partners that you can use. There's some that are in Sri Lanka, which is great. I think their name's Bot Factory, so check them out as well. And would love to see some exciting experiences being built here. All right, Satya.